Alright, so today in Apex I decided to try every single weapon in the game and find out all the different stats I possibly could about. I'm talking like headshot damage, body damage, when the damage drop off is, and let me tell you, I found out some very interesting quirks with a number of weapons, and we'll be working through them by ammo type, starting with the Wingman. So the Wingman does 72 headshot damage per bullet, does 48 body shot damage, and 43 in the limbs. And when I say limbs, I mean just legs. I've tried shooting the arms, and the arms do the exact same damage as body damage, so literally the only difference you have is when you shoot someone in the legs. And when I say headshot damage, I mean kind of a headshot multiplier, so obviously you're getting a bonus for hitting that headshot. Now, most guns have a cutoff where that multiplier just doesn't work anymore. So for example, the Wingman, that drop off is at around 255 meters. You can still get a headshot sometimes at 255, but that seems to be roughly the cutoff. If you take a couple of steps back and you're still at 255, it just seems to stop. You just don't get that multiplier anymore. To test this headshot multiplier, you can only get about 100 meters away from the dummies, so what you have to do then is use the targets in the range, and if you hit them in a headshot, what it'll do is the target will turn red, which it just did then, and that's when you know that you've hit a headshot. And as you noticed, we only got the body shot damage popping up, so yeah, you can work out the cutoff roughly from doing that. Now, the next weapon on the list is the longbow, which I'm a big fan of this season. It's really, really good. And no skull piercer or anything like that this season. But even without a skull piercer, we're getting 108 headshot damage, which is really, really powerful. We get a 60 body shot damage, and we're getting 42 in the limb damage. Now, with sniper rifles, and this tends to be the case for almost all of them, there is just no drop off at all. I mean, you can shoot that thing as far away as you possibly want, and there is just no drop off. The furthest target I can try is the one that we're looking at right now, and I think I managed to get a max away from about 400 meters or something, also, because it's when you go really far back in the range, and I was still hitting a 108 headshot damage. So yeah, it's incredibly strong, and you can see why people are running snipers this season. Okay, now the charge rifle is a super interesting one because it's a gun that not many people use anymore. Now the select firing, I've seen more and more people pick it up, but let's just run through a couple of numbers, and I think you'll be quite surprised at some of it. So in terms of like close range, you're getting around 135 damage for a headshot, 75 for a body shot, and 53 for a limb shot. However, with the charge rifle, the quirk is that the further you are away from the enemy, the more the damage increases. So at around 55 meters away, you start to see that go up, and it goes up to 137 headshot, and then 76 for both body and limb. They kind of tie in at the same amount. And now I got as far away as 400 meters when I was testing with this, and I was hitting for 198 headshot, 110 body shot, and 77 limb. I mean, there when I'm shooting the dummy, I'm about 104 meters away, and we were hitting, what was it, 160 odd damage. So you can see it slowly increases the further away you are. What is worth noting is that when you put it into the hop up mode, it does reduce the damage. Now close range, you're in around 101 headshot, 56 for body shot, but I need to do some more testing with that, and I'll pop the numbers on the screen now to show you what it's like when it's further away. But yeah, very interesting with charge rifle, and I didn't expect the hop up to actually decrease the damage, but there you go, it does. Alright, and up next we have the Sentinel, which is probably my favourite weapon in Apex. I love this gun. I just love how it's like a standard bolt action sniper, and yeah, proper have so much fun with this gun. Now, with the Sentinel, we're hitting 126 for a headshot, 70 for a body shot, and 49 for any limbs that have been hit. Now there is the damage increase when you charge the Sentinel. That increases the headshot to 158 damage, the body shot to around 88, and then limbs around 62. Now both with charged and uncharged Sentinel, there is no drop off damage. So if you are 400 meters away from an enemy and you hit them with a charged Sentinel shot, you're hitting them, well, in the head, you're hitting them with 158. So you just get the full damage no matter what, which is really, really cool. And yeah, I think, you know, we'll start to see a lot more snipers in play in this game, because especially something like the longbow, the fire rate is really, really quick on that, and if you're hitting such a high damage no matter where you are on the map, that is pretty useful, and yeah, pretty good to have. So yeah, real fun weapons to use, snipers, at the minute, and yeah, hopefully once you see all these damages that you can get with it, maybe you'll start picking up and using them a bit more. Alright, so the next category is shotguns, and they were very, very inconsistent to try and get some solid numbers on. The spread on them and stuff is just very, just inconsistent, but we tried to get what we could. So with the Mastiff, there is no headshot multiplier no matter where you are stood. So even if you're on point blank range, which will be in a minute, you'll hit 96 in the head. And that is the same as what you'd hit in the body. So headshots, there's no point trying to even go for them with a Mastiff, because you're just going to get no bonus whatsoever. You might as well go for the mid range of the chest, and you're gonna, if you hit that 96, well, you basically hit a headshot anyway. From the mid range where I'm stood now, you get around 64 damage, but again, it can be a little bit inconsistent. You get around 80 for a limb at close range if you're shooting them in the leg. You can potentially hit around 80, but again, it depends on the spread of the pellets. Past 25 meters, it goes from around 48 damage to 32 damage, so it drops off there, and then it drops to 28 at around, around 28 to 30 meters. It seems to cap off at around 32 damage, and then drops to around 16 after that. But it is so inconsistent on hits. You can hit, sometimes you can hit a 48, sometimes you can hit a 16, even at, around 32 meters. So yeah, it's, past 25 meters. So honestly, it's super inconsistent and weird. Then we move on to the Eva 8, which is definitely the most, overpowered weapon this season, let's say. It is so good. Similar to the Mastiff, it also does not get a headshot multiplier. I did not know most shotguns don't get a headshot multiplier. I was surprised to learn that. But anyway, we get around a 64 head/body shot and limb shot, so it's the same damage no matter where you are close range. You get 56 damage up to around 15 meters away, and then drops to around 40 damage after that. And then from around 24, you can get about 24 to 16 damage at around 20 meters away. So like I say, again, very inconsistent far away. I mean, you're probably not going to be using a shotgun from around 24 meters away anyway. You're probably going to be using it when you're in that close range. When you're in that range where you can get a 64 for a body shot, or even a 56 is pretty goddamn good, especially with how quick it fires. The Eva 8 makes it super powerful. There's also not really a bullet drop off on it, but you tend to hit for around 8 damage, but that's because of the spread of the bullet. Because the Eva 8 fires in a spread of an 8, it's incredibly hard to hit any damage. And anyway, you're not going to be using it for range, so it doesn't matter that much. Now we move on to the Merzams, which were once the joke of Apex, but are now super powerful. I think they're in a really good spot. They do actually have a headshot multiplier. You can hit 63 for a headshot, 51 for both body and limb. So similar to the Eva 8, they don't have a difference between limb and body shots. Sometimes you can hit a 55 in the body shot, which I don't understand how that works, and if maybe one of the pellets is potentially clipping the head or something, I'm not sure. But then from around 18 meters, the headshot drops to around 42. And then it's a bit inconsistent what you hit in the body shot. Sometimes again you still get 51s, 55s. It can be weird. And then from almost any range except about 250 meters away, you can hit for 17, which I don't think's that bad. And even sometimes, I mean, we're at about 69 meters away here, and we just picked up a little 30. So yeah, real weird. In terms of running it as a dual wield, it's the exact same. Obviously, you're just getting faster fire rate because you're firing 2 at once, but the drop off is a little bit sooner in terms of that you can't ADS and get that tighter spread because you're firing 2. So but still pretty damn good even at a dual wield. Now we move on to light weapons. We're starting off with a P2020 first. Now that has a 31 headshot multiplier damage, a 25 body shot damage, and a 23 limb damage, so all pretty similar numbers all around. However, with the P2020, similar to the Wingman, there is a drop-off with the headshot multiplier. So from around 39 to 38 meters away, you will no longer hit 31 in the headshot, and no matter if you hit a headshot or whatever past that 38-39 meter distance, it'll just hit for 25, as you can see on screen in a minute. There is good news in that there is no drop-off for the rest of the damage though, so you can still hit 25 basically body plus damage from any range. I'm talking 300 meters away and stuff like that. You are still hitting 25, which again it's not bad. It's pretty good, but you know, you're probably not going to be using a P2020 from that range, but it still does pretty good damage. In terms of dual wielding them, it's pretty much the exact same, except the spread's a bit wider. I mean, you'll see a clip in a minute when I'm dual wielding them, and you just absolutely obliterating them from miles away. So you can see why the P2020 is in a really, really good spot at the minute, and are just, yeah, an absolute shred to be able to do people from miles away. Now, after the P2020s, we then have the RE45, which does an 18 headshot, 14 body shot, and 13 limb. Now, again, similar to the P2020, it also has no headshot multiplier from around that 30 meter damage range. And again, there's no drop off for the rest of the damage though. So, similar to that, if you're going past that 39 meter range, you're going to be hitting 14 in the head no matter what. What I would say about the RE45 is that it is incredibly weak at the moment. I think it is probably the worst gun on the game, if I'm being honest. It's just I know some people enjoy it off drop and stuff, but I think it genuinely is just off drop. That's it. I mean, the magazine size is only 26 at max, and yeah, it's just why would you take it when there's so many other better weapons on the ground that do more damage? And you know, even with its fast fire rate, the mag is so low, you're going to be taking an R99 over this. So yeah, interesting one with the RE45. I personally think it needs a bit of a buff or something doing to it to make it viable again. And now after the RE45, we move on to the Alternator, which does 22 damage in the head, 18 in the body, and 14 in the limb. Again, very much similar to the pistols, which is weird because it's obviously not classed as a pistol, it's classed as an SMG, but it has the exact same drop-off in that there is nothing after 39 meters, 39 meters away. You're not going to get that headshot multiplier. You're just going to be hitting 14 no matter what. Sorry, not 14. You're going to be hitting 18 no matter what. So yeah, an interesting one with the Alternator. I thought it'd probably be a little bit better at range. It normally feels that way when you use it, but yeah. Either way, you still don't get any drop off for the rest of the damage, like I say. So yeah, you know, if you are far away, you will be hitting 18 no matter what, which, you know, for a gun that's easy to handle recoil, that's not bad at all, I don't think. And I think it is something that, you know, is not too bad early game, especially this weapon. So next up we have the R99, which actually has the worst headshot damage of all the light weapons, in only having a 16 headshot, 13 body shot, and 10 limb shot. So damage wise, it's actually potentially the worst light weapon that you could choose. However, we all know the fire rate on this gun is absolutely insane and makes it why you take it. Basically, you know, up range, it fires that quick, it makes up for that low damage. Again, similar to the Alternator and the pistols, it does have that drop off again at around 39 to 38 meters. So, you know, whoever's using this gun at range is silly anyway. So yeah, very good close range weapon still, but you know, you're not going to get much from far. Then move on to the R301. Now this is doing 18 headshot damage, 14 body shot damage, and 11 limb damage, which is actually not too different from the R99, which is an SMG. The only difference here though is that the headshot multiplier goes a lot further, and I'm talking a lot further. We're up here about 104 meters away. We're still getting it. We're still hitting for all our damage that we can do. It's only when you start targeting around 300 meters plus away, it's around like a 299 seems to be the cap, that is when the headshot multiplier will disappear, but you're still doing that 14 body shot damage. That being said, if you're shooting someone from 300 meters away, you know, that is a far distance. Next up we have the Spitfire, which I think people are sleeping on, especially when you hear these damage numbers that it does. So it does 26 headshot damage, 21 body damage, and 18 limb damage, which is like the best so far of all the light weapons. Like really, really good weapon. The only difference is that it has a weird cutoff, so you get no headshot multiplier from around 55 to 56 meters away. That's when the cutoff is. So not as far as an LMG as the 301, sorry, but still in like a decent enough range. And you know, I think I'm gonna start choosing the Spitfire a lot more now I know what kind of damage it does. I never realised it was that good. It's always felt good, but yeah, knowing the damage that it does now, I'm definitely picking this thing up more and probably trying it a lot more than a 301. And then last but not least, we have the G7 Scout. Now this does 56 headshot damage, 35 body shot damage, and 26 limb damage, and there is no drop off whatsoever in the weapon. That means you can fire this thing from, you know, 400 meters away, you are still going to get that headshot multiplier. So Basically acts a lot like a sniper, despite it sitting in that marksman rifle category, which, to be fair, this is the first marksman rifle we've picked up. It deals the same amount of kind of range as a sniper would, so with the fire rate as well, it does wonder why you would choose, you know, anything other than this, really, for the range. Okay, so now we're moving on to heavy weapons, starting with the car SMG, which does 17 headshot damage, 14 body shot damage, and 11 limb damage. And again, as it's an SMG and it's similar to the pistols, it falls into that 39-38 meter range where you lose the headshot multiplier. What is interesting to note is that obviously it is slightly better than the R99 in damage, and I always seem to take the R99 then the car. I know the R99 has a faster fire rate, but yeah, a bit interesting to know. Maybe I should start running the car a little bit more and trying that out, because I don't see many people pick up this weapon whatsoever. So yeah, maybe one to try over the 99 in future. And next up is our second LMG that we've tried, which is the Rampage. Now, the Rampage does 36 headshot, 29 body shot, and 25 limb shot. So again, good numbers, very good numbers. Not as fast to fire it as the Spitfire though, so it's one of those guns that you're going to be taking at range, but with the damage that you can see is pretty much incredible. Again, there is no headshot multiplier, but from a very, very weird range. It seems to be around 62 meters away that this thing stops doing the headshot multiplier, so it's definitely further, obviously, than the Spitfire. But the fact that it's sat in its own range category is very, very strange. This also doesn't matter if you are revved up or unrevved up with the thermites, and you also don't do any extra damage with thermites, which, in case people thought you do, you don't. It just increases the fire rate, which is why you get absolutely shredded when Ballistic pulls it out of his queue. And up next we have another marksman rifle, and another weird one, to be fair, in the 30-30. So what you get here is, obviously, with a scope on, well, not even without a scope on, it will charge up a shot and do more damage. So you get, for a full charge, you'll do 93 damage to the head and 69 as a non-charged shot, but it can hit from anything between 69 and 93 while charging. I've hit a couple of 70s, a couple of 80s, anywhere in between that charge up rate. But if you fully wait and ready to charge up, you're going to hit 93. You get 43 for body and 37 for limb. That's uncharged. And for a max charge, you get 58 body and 49 limb when it's fully charged. Also, similar to the G7 Scout and other snipers, there is no drop off whatsoever. So next we have the Prowler, which for a full burst, which I believe it fires 5 bullets at a time, it will do 95 damage in the head, which is 19 per bullet. You're going to do 80 in the chest, which is around 16 per bullet, and then 60 in the leg, which is around 13 damage. And again, similar to most SMGs, it has a 37 meter no headshot multiplier. What is interesting is those damage figures, they're again higher than something like an R99, so are people sleeping on the Prowler? Because again, I do not see people running this gun, and even with select fire, maybe you're getting a bit more damage there, because it doesn't actually affect the damage, the select fire, like it does with the charge rifle. So yeah, want to definitely try out a little bit more than other weapons that I've been using so far. Alright, now moving on to the Hemlock. Now this is going to do 26 headshot damage, 20 body damage, and 15 limb damage. Similar to the 301, as it's an assault rifle, it has no headshot multiplier from around that 300 meters mark. What is interesting again is the damage that it does. I know it had a nerf recently, the Hemlock. It doesn't feel as good as what it did when it first came out this season, but it's still a really good weapon, and you know, the recoil's pretty easy to control, so definitely one for trying out a little bit more. And then the final heavy weapon of the group is the Flatline, which we're going to be doing 25 headshot damage, 19 body damage, and 14 limb damage. Again, similar to all assault rifles, it has got no headshot multiplier at 300 meters, and yeah, I mean, I love the Flatline. I mean, even if it did no damage whatsoever, I think I'd still be running this gun over most of them. Now we move on to the Nemesis, and the first of our energy weapons. This does a 4 burst every round, so it is an 88 headshot damage, meaning it's around 22 damage per bullet, 68 body damage, so about 17 per bullet, and 52 limb damage, so again around 13 per bullet. So really, really strong, I think. You know, not too far off the Hemlock. Again, no headshot multiplier from around 300 meters. This gun is so good, especially when fully charged up close range. It is a real weapon and a beast to handle. Moving on to the Vault now, we are going to be doing 19 headshot damage, 16 body shot damage, and 13 limb damage. And again, as it's an SMG, we're getting that 39-38 meter no multiplier for the headshots. Again, you're looking at them damage figures, they're looking really, really good. And Vault, again, is another weapon I do not use, so maybe I should start picking this up and just varying things out a little bit more. Maybe, you know, a couple of these weapons could be slept on and could actually be much powerful than what people think. And now moving on to the triple take, which does 105 headshot damage, 66 body damage, and 60 limb damage. So yeah, really, really powerful, this gun. Again, another weapon I don't see too many people use, but it's up there with, you know, a competitor for the G7 Scout in my opinion. Obviously, when you hold it down the aim as well, you get that tighter choke. Doesn't do any extra damage, but just makes that bullet spread a lot less, and yeah, a bit more consistent in the damage that you're doing. But yeah, again, no drop off with this weapon, similar to most marksman rifles that we've tried so far. So you can hit a target from 400 meters away and still do that 105 headshot damage. Moving on to another popular gun this season is the L-Star, which will do 24 headshot damage, 19 body damage, and 16 limb damage. Now remember, this is classed as an LMG, so it falls into the same category as the Spitfire in terms of damage, not the Rampage that has that weird damage from range, which is like 60 odd meters. This one, again, 55-56 meters, you're not going to get that headshot multiplier. But yeah, still solid weapon and a real beast to shred people with from well, close or far. Finally, we have our last LMG and last energy weapon in the Diversion. This is going to be doing 20 headshot damage, 16 body damage, and 14 limb damage. Again, it has that headshot multiplier reduction at 55-56 meters. Fully enough, when you look at them figures, I know it has a faster fire rate once it gets going, the Diversion, but it's probably the weakest LMG in the game, and without the hop-up of the turbocharger, I actually think it is probably one of the worst weapons in the game. It's down there with the RE45 for me, especially seeing these figures now. Yeah, it is just, yeah, a bit of a rubbish weapon. So moving on to the final category, which is care package weapons. Starting off with a Kraber, which does 210 to the head, so one shot anything, 150 to the body, and 120 to the limb. So no surprise to anyone whatsoever, it has no drop off at all, meaning you can hit 210 in the head no matter what range, making it probably, well, it is the most powerful weapon on the game, which it should be. It's so good when you get one in your hands, and yeah, rightfully so that it's the most powerful weapon. But yeah, super powerful, as we all know and expect. Next up, we have our final marksman rifle in the Burr. This will do 120 to the head, 75 to the body, and 68 to the limb. That is at a full pullback, by the way, so obviously you can fire this thing a little bit quicker if you just keep tapping it, but you're not going to get anywhere near those numbers. You will also be doing 91 body and limb shot if you just do the kind of spread that we're doing right here, where you're kind of firing it. It shoots a little bit like a shotgun. They're the damage that you'll get it there. Obviously, if you switch the fire rate and just fire the single arrows at a time, you're going to get the same damage as what you do when you aim down sights and do it that way. Similar to actually assault rifles, this has no bonus headshot damage at 300 meters, which is weird because considering it falls into a marksman rifle, which out of all the ones that we've tested so far, none of them have a drop off. It's a bit weird that the bow does. I understand that technically, even though it's a marksman rifle, it has its own ammos in a bow, but yeah, a bit of a weird one that it does have a drop off. But there you go, learn something new every day. Next up, we have the Havoc, which is super strong when you get that from a care package. That is doing 27 headshot damage, 21 body damage, and 16 in the legs. Now, it will do 105 headshot damage if you do the alternate fire rate, that kind of little beam thing that it does. It will do 70 body damage and 70 leg damage, so the leg and body are both the same when you fire it in the kind of laser beam mode. But as you can tell from the numbers, it's super strong. The fire rate is super quick, making it one of the best weapons in the game by far. Again, is another super weird one with the range. At around 145 meters, you will not get the headshot multiplier, and that's with either the beam mode or just firing it in the normal kind of havoc mode, just like tapping the trigger. You're just not going to get the headshot multiplier. So yeah, a bit weird, a bit of a weird trade-off that has. That it doesn't go to 300 meters, sorry. But yeah, there you go. And finally, our final weapon to test is the Peacekeeper. Now this will do 135 headshot damage, 108 body and limb damage, both the same damages. Again, it's a shotgun, it's super inconsistent, so you can get some real weird numbers no matter how the pellets hit, and you know, yeah, super hard to test fully. What is mad with this, and I noticed this when I've picked it up and tried it a few times, is the range on it, especially when you aim down sights and the choke fully closes. You can hit some high numbers from miles away. So for example, from around from around 40 meters away, you can still hit a target for 114 damage. Now even further back, from around 68 meters away, you can hit around 111 if you're lucky. It also does headshot damage as well, just to put that in there. It doesn't seem to have a cut-off either. And then finally, even from around 300 meters away, you can still hit pretty reliably in the 70s, which is just crazy. It is more powerful than almost any other gun from any range. So yeah, that thing is seriously powerful, and when I see people leave it in a care package, you just gotta wonder why. Anyways, I hope you've enjoyed that rundown of all the weapons there and all the different kind of damages that they can do with the surprise drop-offs. I didn't know about the pistols or most of the weapons having certain drop-offs of the headshot multiplier. I thought it was really cool and interesting to find out. Hope you've enjoyed it. I will be dropping a part 2 to this, where I will record kind of the time to kill for all weapons to see which is the fastest kill weapon for someone that is on purple shields, because that's probably the average of what people are running, probably blue actually, but either way, we'll try and drop that video in the next coming weeks. Hope you like this one. Like and subscribe for more, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.